Hi, everybody. Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. Welcome to my weekly Wednesday local business spotlight. Today, I have probably my favorite guest that I have ever had on the show. No offense to Sarah White or Darren Marquardt or anybody else that was on a couple of times. Jennifer Rose, the goddess, I am so grateful that you agreed to come on today. Thank you very much. Today, we are going to be talking about the Rotary Club of Fairfax specifically, but also Rotary International for anybody that does not know what Rotary is and does. It's National Membership Month, or maybe International Membership Month for Rotary International. So that's why Jennifer is on today. Rotary is one of the largest and oldest service clubs in Fairfax, and they are people of action. Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. For 90 years, Fairfax Rotary has been taking action and creating lasting changes in the city of Fairfax. Club projects include scholarships for outstanding high school seniors, Teacher of the Year awards, dictionaries distributed to all third graders in the Fairfax High School pyramid and at St. Leo the Great. I went to Fairfax High School. U.S. Constitutions distributed to eighth graders at Katherine Johnson Middle School, collection drives for the Lamb Center and Northern Virginia Family Service. And they support local charities such as Britepaths, the Arc of Northern Virginia, the Salvation Army, the Lamb Center, and more. And the art gallery at the Stacy Sherwood Community Center, the Rotary Clock in the City of Fairfax, clean water projects in Zambia, literacy and education project partnership with the Guatemala Literacy Project, health clinic support in Haiti, and much, much more. That is a lot. So, Jennifer, I'm going to turn it over to you to tell everybody a little bit more about Rotary International and the Rotary Club of Fairfax for anyone that is not familiar.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Jean. And I don't know why I'm your favorite guest or one of your favorites, because Darren and Sarah and Marvin are great guests as well. So I'm honored to be amongst that group.
I just have to say the people that have been on multiple times, I include in my favorite guests.
Well, thank you very much. And I love talking Rotary. And normally when I'm with you, I'm talking about Chamber of Commerce business. But I have been a Rotarian for 18 years. And when I came to Rotary, I came as an employee of a club out west. And I was vaguely familiar with Rotary. So I get a lot of questions from folks now, like, I don't even know what Rotary is. I mean, my grandpa was in Rotary or my dad was in Rotary, but I don't really understand it. So, right off the bat, Rotary clubs are service organizations. Our motto is service above self. If you join Rotary, it's because you want to serve your community and give back. And Jean listed off quite a few things that our club has been doing in the city of Fairfax. It's actually just a small bit of what we do in the city, but there is something for everyone in Rotary, whether you're looking to do something locally, more regionally, or internationally. There is something for everyone. We tend to focus on some of, I guess, the world's more persistent issues. So there are like 40,000 clubs worldwide. We are the oldest service organization. We were founded in 1905 by 4 businessmen in the Chicago area. And less than 20 years later, they had clubs on 6 continents all around the world. So it took. But we focus on issues like promoting peace. That's a big deal with Rotary. In fact, we have peace centers around the world at major universities. We fight disease. We have been on the front lines to end polio in the world. And of course, in America, you're like, polio? I don't have to worry about polio. Well, you don't have to worry about polio in part because Rotarians have been working since the late 70s, early 80s to eradicate polio from the face of the planet. And we do that by providing funds for immunizations in countries around the world. Polio currently is endemic in 2 countries right now. Jean, you want to guess which 2 countries they might be?
Is India one of them?
No. India is polio free as of a couple of years ago. That was a huge deal.
Pakistan?
Pakistan is one of the countries, yes.
Afghanistan?
And Afghanistan is the other. Those 2 obviously have some unique challenges, especially right now, getting in to provide immunizations to folks. But we're this close. I mean, polio has been reduced by like 99.9%. And a lot of people think, oh, it's the World Health Organization, it's the UN, it's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. No, it started with Rotary International. So we're really proud of that. But we do things to help fight other diseases as well through providing clean water, sanitation, and hygiene in third world countries, and even right here in the United States. I know a club that the club I worked for out west, we did a lot of work with some of the Navajo nations and helping them obtain water rights and things like that. So even right here in the good old US of A, or within the confines of the United States, there's clean water issues. We work to help save mothers and children, and we do that through providing education, supporting education and literacy projects, and to help grow local economies. So there's a lot of different programs out there that may be providing microloans to women in Zambia to help them sell their wares. So lots of great things that Rotarians do around the world to literally change lives and get people out of poverty, lift them out of poverty, so that they can have a better life for their families and then for the next generation. I love Rotary. I love the power of leverage that they have. Our club, for example, kicks in just a few $100s for a project that is in Chantal, Haiti. And Haiti just had the earthquake over the weekend, which is tragic. And the clinic that we have been supporting off and on was hit hard. And now I think there's a tropical storm moving through. So it's like, how much more can you dump on Haiti? But our project, we partner with a bunch of Rotary clubs right here in the district, which is mostly Northern Virginia, and then down Route 29 to Charlottesville, and then down Interstate 95 towards, Tappahannock, Matthews is kind of the border, not quite as far as Williamsburg. But we're able to, combine our forces, get some funds matched by Rotary District, Rotary International, and all of a sudden our, couple of $300, $400, $500 investment has turned into tens of thousands of dollars. It's just a wonderful thing to see how you can leverage just a little bit, and it goes such a long way.
Mm-hmm. So can you tell people what it's like to be a member of Rotary clubs?
Yes, I sure can. Rotary clubs, for the most part, meet weekly. There are some now that are meeting a couple of times a week. Rotary used to be very, very structured. It used to be you had to attend. I mean, you couldn't, if you missed a meeting, you could go to another Rotary club to make it up, which is always fun because the clubs are a little bit different. They all have their unique flavors and cultures. Some clubs sing like my club. Some clubs don't. But Rotary's kind of relaxed some of their standards. It used to be a very strong classification system, kind of like with a B&I group where you can only have, one pest control person and one lawyer and one this. Rotary was like that as well for many years. But it's not like that anymore because we want to bring in as many people as we can that want to do their part to serve their communities and ultimately change the world. So Rotarians would expect to attend a meeting weekly. Right now, most clubs, I think, including ours, are meeting virtually. We did try to go back to in-person meetings in July, and we did it. Actually, we did it hybrid, which was very challenging. So we had some people Zooming in and some people at the American Legion. But with the Delta variant, we decided to go back to Zoom only. We do have some older members of our club that just weren't comfortable coming out. So back to Zoom we go. But we meet weekly. We have really great speakers and programs on a variety of subjects. It could be business oriented. It could be Rotary oriented, like a presentation about a project we're involved with. It could be just getting to know your fellow Rotarians. They call them classification talks, even though we don't really have those classifications anymore. But it's a really great way to get to know your members. There are some fundraising activities and endeavors that you're expected to support. Not necessarily writing the big checks yourself, but if you can get other people to come play in that golf tournament or to sponsor a hole, that works too. In years past, if you were a Rotarian, you were more than likely the decision maker in your business. So those folks tended to have more resources, more time, and flexibility. to come to meetings. And again, we've changed some things. We're trying to catch up with modern times and open Rotary to even more people, because there's so much good that needs to be done in the world. So we kind of recognize that, okay, well, not everybody can, just cut that big check or take off a half a day to do this, that, or the other. So there's lots of different ways that you can pick and choose what you want to do within your club. You've mentioned so many things that our club does. I mean, some things are one and dones. Handing out the dictionaries to the third graders in one of the elementary schools, so much fun. The kids are so excited. Everyone's like, dictionaries? Kids use dictionaries today, even in internet? They really do. And teachers love dictionaries because, the kids are looking up one word, but then they see these other words on the page and they're like, oh, what's that? What's that? If you Google one word, you're going to see that one word and that's it. Mm-hmm. We participate in the Independence Day parade every year with a float, and I've participated in it, been on the float, marching, waving, and you hear the kids like point to us. That's who gave me my dictionary. For some of these kids, that's the only book they have. And that's so hard to wrap your brain around in Fairfax County, that kids don't have books, but there are some serious pockets of poverty in our own community. And to give them their very own book, there's a book plate inside it. They can write their name. It has our 4-way test in it. Rotary has this great thing that if everybody followed the 4-way test, the world would be a much better place. Let me see if I can remember it properly. Of the things we say, think, or do, you ask yourself, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? If you got a problem or a dilemma and you can go through that mental list of questions, you're probably going to come out with the right decision. So we put that in there for the kids. Just so many good things that we do. And it's just fun. I mean, ringing the bell for the Salvation Army every year, I sing. And when people put money in the bucket, I say, oh my God, thank you for paying me to stop singing. Sometimes what I sing sounds pretty good, but usually not so much. We love when we do the Teacher of the Year awards. The schools in the city of Fairfax, because technically our club is the Fairfax City's Rotary Club, they submit their nominations. We have a review committee that looks at them, and we pick 2. They get a nice lunch, a plaque, and a check for $1,000. But they don't know about the $1,000 check. So it has been fun to sit in the meeting, and you get the envelope, you grip and grin for your pictures, and you go sit back down. And I remember one year, gosh, it's probably been 10 years. The teacher actually opened up the envelope and saw it was $1,000 check, and she literally in the middle of our meeting was like, ah! It was wonderful. So being able to do little things like that, it's just all good.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about Fairfax High School. I'm partial to that because I grew up in Fairfax City and went to and graduated from Fairfax High School. So for anybody who's watching and my Facebook friends that also went to Fairfax High School, Jennifer, why don't you tell us specifically what you have done with what the Rotary Club of Fairfax has done with Fairfax High School?
Yeah, we do lots of things. First of all, we sponsor the Interact Club, which is Rotary for high school students. Some years they are crazy, fantastically, awesomely active, and some years maybe not so much. COVID has certainly made it difficult, but that's been a great way to develop some leadership skills for the students. They plan their events and activities, donation drives, and things like that. We sponsor a speech contest in the high school. We also have an essay contest at the middle school. Where a topic is always something about Rotary, sometimes our 4-way test, sometimes just ethics or the impact Rotary has on the world. And I'm very proud to say that we've had a district winner out of Fairfax High School before. And we've had our winner go to compete at the district level. So we got the club level, and then our district is broken into areas, and then the areas fall into the district. So Fairfax High School students do very well in our speech contest. So we're very proud of them. We have been able to send students abroad for short-term youth exchanges in the summer. It's a 3-week exchange program. I know we've had several Fairfax High School students participate in that, including my former employer's son did that several years back. We have provided a lot of funding and support to the new charitable endeavor out of the school, A Place to Stand and A Place to Eat. I hope I got those names right, guys. But we've helped provide a lot of food pantry items, because there's a pantry operating out of the high school now for kids who are food insecure. Again, it's really hard to wrap your brain around Fairfax County, kids being hungry, but if I put my hat on from a former career that I had, I could talk about food insecurity all day. There are a lot of hungry people in Fairfax.
Well, so let's talk just briefly about some of the other programs. I'm looking at the list. It mentions the local charities that are supported are Britepaths, the Arc of Northern Virginia, Salvation Army, and the Lamb Center. I think we're all familiar with the Salvation Army, but can you briefly tell everybody about these particular charities and what Rotary does with them or for them?
Sure. For each of the organizations you've listed, we generally do cut a check for them, just a cash contribution. Britepaths is my former employer, so I can talk a lot about them. They used to be known as Our Daily Bread, and they've been in the community for 35 years now. I think it's 35, it might be 36. They do a lot of work to address food insecurity, prevent homelessness. They have a very large and well-respected financial literacy program in the Fairfax County. And they have some workforce development that they've expanded into. So a lot of things that fall in line with Rotary's things that we focus on. So they do great things. The Lamb Center is a local day shelter for the homeless. And, oh, hello, Barry. Barry's our immediate past president. The Lamb Center is a great organization in the city. They provide great services to the homeless. They can drop in during the day. They can do laundry. They can take showers. They can get a meal. They can get counseling, access to services, even medical and dental. So the club provides financial contributions to them, but we also do collection drives each year. One of our Rotarians, Tom Yates, usually spearheads this. We get the wish list from the Lamb Center, and members of the club, bring in the donations, whether it's, coffee cups or socks or trash bags or whatever it is that the Lamb Center is in need at that time, we'll collect. Salvation Army, I think most people know about. We do ring the bell for them during the holidays, and have supported some of their food drives to refill their food pantry in the past. The Arc of Northern Virginia, I think our support of them is a straight financial obligation, but the Arc is a great, great, great organization that provides information and resources to folks who have intellectual and developmental disabilities throughout Northern Virginia. They are an amazing resource. So if you know somebody who falls into that population and you don't know about the Arc, look them up. They have so many resources for you.
Another thing I wanted to touch on, the Clean Water Project and the Literacy and Education Project that go on outside of the United States. Can you tell us a little, just briefly, about those and how we as Rotarian, I'm not a Rotarian, how a member of a Rotary Club can help with those projects? So what can we do on this local level to help with that?
Great example is our literacy work in Guatemala as a part of the Guatemala Literacy Project. We actually have a Rotarian in the club, Rick Schroeder, who has been affiliated with the Guatemala Literacy Project longer than he's been in Rotary. So he's very passionate about it. It's a textbook rental program in Guatemala, where we provide the books for the students, usually young girls in very rural areas of Guatemala. And they rent these textbooks so they can go to school. Very affordable. They get their education. Many of them go on to become teachers in the school, get jobs where they can support siblings to come through the program. Rotarians can sponsor students to go through the school. And I wish I knew how much it was to sponsor a student. Barry is in the comments. He may know. I want to say it's something like $70 a month to sponsor a student to get their education in Guatemala. And anybody can do that, whether you're a Rotarian or not. So if anyone's interested, I can connect you to help you make that happen. But it's such great life-changing work. It is the largest grant-funded program that Rotary is a part of. I mean, we're talking $500 million.
Wow.
That's being invested in Guatemala. Thanks, Barry. It's $900 a year to sponsor a student in that program. The clean water stuff that we're doing, most recently we have been in Zambia. There is something in our district called the Strategic Water Alliance. And we'll go into a variety of countries, typically in Africa, but they can be in South Asia. They can be in South America, where we drill boreholes, we have wells, and we put them in communities and teach the people in the community, how to maintain the wells. Maintenance is always a big deal. If the well breaks, somebody's got to fix it, and Rotary's not going to be there. Mm-hmm. So that has been great, because once they get water, like in a community, kids don't have to carry water, or mothers don't have to carry water for miles and miles and miles. They can go into town. The water pump is there. It's right by the school. Sometimes they build schools around it. Then, the schools get more sophisticated. They have latrine facilities, so people can use the restroom when they're in school. Young girls typically stop going to school when they hit a certain puberty milestone because there's no facilities for them. And Rotary has been able to address that so that young girls can even continue with their education. It's amazing how much time can be spent just trying to have access to clean water. And when you do have access to it, suddenly all those hours are freed up to do other things, like learn.
I had no idea. I did not know that girls stopped going to school at a certain age in those countries. I really didn't.
Sometimes, and it's simply because, they get their Barry just put something else in the box, the chat. Shelter Box is a great Rotary program. I think Rotarians started it. It's not officially Rotary organized. I think it's independent, but so many Rotary clubs support it. For places like Haiti that just had the earthquake and now soon tropical storm, Shelter Box will come in. They've got this big box that's got everything in it that a family would need to live out of temporarily: tents, pots and pans, cooking equipment, even things to keep the kids activated, things to clean the water, like the water tablets. And it's $1,000 to sponsor one box, but they literally distribute them around the world. Here in the United States, they distributed them after Katrina hit. They've been to the Philippines after earthquakes and storms have come through. So Shelter Box is great. And sometimes you'll see them set up at different festivals and communities. And you can see, like, they'll set up the whole what's in the Shelter Box and talk to people about how they can support them. But just so many great things that Rotarians and clubs do and make accessible for people like you and me to support that you would never know about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I learned something just doing this, and I've been to Rotary meetings before. And I pay attention, I swear.
Well, there's just so much to know. I mean, there really is. And I'm blessed that I have been involved with Rotary literally for 18 years, almost 19. And working for a club, you learn a lot more. And I've worked, for a club out west in New Mexico for 5 years. And I've been in the Fairfax Rotary Club since 2009. I'm a past president. I've worn many hats there. So, the longer you're in, the more you learn. I mean, but then again, there's people that have been Rotarians forever who have no idea all the things that our club does. And it's fun to open their eyes to be like, did you know that we were doing this, this, and this? I know that you participate in, bell ringing and dictionary distribution, but we're also doing these things. So
Barry said hundreds of years.
Yeah, well, let's see. Rotary is 113 years old. So.
Wow. Well, one thing before we start to wrap up, aside from all of those service projects and everything that we talked about, are there ever any, how should I describe this? What other events does Rotary ever put on that people can take advantage of and that go to support these projects? Like, are there, I'm thinking of something I went to a couple of years ago. It wasn't a casino night, but
Yeah, well, it could have been. Different Rotary clubs have different fundraising events and activities. Our club, actually, next week and Barry, drop it in the chat because I'm out of town next week. I didn't pay attention. Next week on, I think it's the 25th, we're doing a happy hour at Lost Dog Cafe, Sarah's place, in the Mosaic District. So, typically Rotarians attend that, but we love to have non-Rotarians come so they can learn more about Rotary and just meet some great people who care about their community. But Rotary clubs can have their golf tournaments. Our club, that's our biggest fundraiser. We host a golf tournament the Monday after Mother's Day every year, unless it rains or there's a pandemic. Although we did pull off 2 golf tournaments so far in a pandemic. We did our tournament last year in August instead of May, and then we turned around and did our usual tournament date in May. So some clubs have proper galas with auctions. The McLean Rotary Club has a chocolate festival they do. There's all kinds of things. Each club, some clubs do fish fries and shrimp boils and you name it, it's out there.
Huh. Well, you sold me on the chocolate festival or whatever that was. But yeah, what I was thinking about, it wasn't a casino night. It was something related to the Super Bowl. There was like a gigantic Super Bowl square thing, and there was a silent auction. One of the other Rotary clubs in the area did that. So so I was just wondering what other types of events like that people could participate in if they were Rotary members.
Yeah, for us, the biggest fundraiser event is the golf tournament. We are hoping to celebrate our 90th anniversary. We turned 90 this past April. We had hoped to do a little celebration later this fall, but I think we're going to push it off a year because of COVID and the Delta variant. But who knows what that's going to turn into. If we have more time to plan it, it could turn into something pretty awesome and amazing. But we have a picnic usually in September, October, that Rotarians come with their kids, their grandkids, which is a lot of fun. And we love to have potential members come to that because it's a really relaxed way to get to know folks.
Mm-hmm. So what we talked about led me to another question, actually. Say somebody's a member of Fairfax, the Fairfax City Rotary Club. Are they able to visit meetings of the other clubs and attend the events of the other clubs?
Yes, that's the beauty of Rotary. Rotary is everywhere. I mean, if you've been on a road trip, you'll see the little sign, the little round sign with the Rotary logo. Rotary meets here on Wednesdays. When you're a Rotarian, you can go to visit any club meeting, participate in their fundraisers. They would love to take your money to support their fundraisers. But yeah, that is the beauty of Rotary. If you're traveling and if you're a Rotarian, you find car trouble, or some sort of trouble or issue, if you can track down a Rotarian in that town, you've got somebody that's going to help you, and that's really cool. And around the world, I mean, there's Rotary clubs. I don't know how many countries they're in now, but many countries around the world. So if you're traveling in other countries and you run into some sort of trouble, find a Rotary club. Maybe they can help you.
That's awesome. All right. So feel free to interject if there's anything else you want to say. But before we wrap up, because we talked about a lot, can you just tell everybody, what it's like? This might not be the best way to phrase this question. What it's like to be a Rotarian. What does a Rotarian do? I mean, we mentioned the meetings, but how little or how much do they need to be involved with all of these projects? Say I sign up and start right now, then what can I expect for my life as a Rotarian?
Well, it is a dues-paying organization, so Rotary dues are $300 a year. And I tell people when they join Rotary, you get out of it what you put into it. So I don't ever expect anyone that joins Rotary to jump in head first and get involved with everything, because you would, that's all you would ever do. But take a look at all the things that the club's involved with. We have a beautiful org chart. Let's see, I have my Rotary directory here, and I'll hold it up. That shows all the different things that the club is involved with and does, and you can pick and choose. You can be like, oh, I'm interested in that. Let me learn more about that and get involved with that. There it is. All right, so there is our beautiful org chart. It's a couple years old, but I mean, obviously you can see we're involved in there's a lot of places that someone could get involved. That, make it a priority to attend those meetings each week. I tell people we meet on Mondays at 12:15. Right now, again, via Zoom, but I tell people all the time, Monday is a great way to start your week. Come into a Rotary meeting. You have to eat lunch anyway, so you might as well come on out, enjoy the fellowship with other members. You're building relationships with folks. You're getting to know people, and even though it's not a priority of Rotary, Rotarians tend to do business with other Rotarians because you have similar values. You can trust them. They got that ethics in place, that four-way test. But if you join Rotary, I would expect that you would attend meetings. Maybe not every single week, but it would be cool if you did. At least a couple a month at minimum. And then find a couple of places to get involved and see how you like it. And if you didn't like those things, you can try something else. And that's my best advice, I think.
Okay. Well, that's good advice. And this question goes to Jennifer and Barry, if you're still there. Are people who are not currently Rotarians allowed to attend that networking happy hour next week?
Yes.
And okay, so I'm sure Barry will say something too. But I just wanted to recap. Barry said it's the 24th. So the 24th, which is Tuesday at 5:30, and that's Lost Dog Cafe in Dunloring.
Yep.
Okay. So Lost Dog Cafe, Dunloring, Tuesday, August 24th, 5:30. Rotary happy hour. Now, is that just Fairfax City Rotary, or is that area like what?
Our club has organized it, but the last one that we did, I know we had some folks from the Tyson's Rotary Club that came down.
Okay.
So
Fairfax City Rotary is organizing the event, so it will be mostly members from there, but you will meet other Rotarians, and you can. Well, Jennifer will be out of town, but you can track down Barry or anybody else to get more information and just meet a lot of good people. I went to one Rotary happy hour. It was before COVID. Seems like yesterday, but yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Everybody, and I've been to some meetings. Like I said, everybody's really nice and welcoming, and it's a good time.
Yeah, there's so many great people. I mean, people that have been involved in the city of Fairfax for many years. So there's a lot of cool history. The granddaughter of one of our founding members, Paula Kelly, member of the club, and she tells us the most interesting stories about her grandfather, Judge Brown, who was one of our founding members. So,
oh, Judge Brown from Fairfax.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, as we all know, I'm in court all the time, so I know who Judge Brown is. Barry also typed in the comments, it's outside. So if anybody is concerned about being in closed quarters, the happy hour is outside on the patio.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jennifer, you are a very busy lady. Oh, there is a Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce Young Professionals meeting tonight at 6:00 in Fairfax City, of course. So Jennifer, I know we'll be getting to that at some point. I have to give a plug for that. My friend John Nerol, who I've never met in person, only virtually, will be speaking. So anybody that's in the area, definitely try to check that out. And is there anything else that you wanted to leave us with before we left, Jennifer?
I just invite anyone to check us out. Again, we are meeting Mondays via Zoom, so you can Zoom in from the comforts of your home. You can visit our website, fairfaxrotary.org, and that will have information on how you can request the Zoom link. We don't just put it out there for everybody, because I have seen some things that I can't unsee on Zoom over the past year and a half from those obnoxious people that like to crash parties. But check out the website. You can always reach out to me. My email, easy one, jennifer@cfcc.org. And I'm happy to answer Rotary questions.
Jennifer
or chamber questions.
Yes. So Jennifer mentioned that she wore many hats within Rotary, but she also currently wears many hats. She is and if you've seen my shows before, which I know you all have, Jennifer is the executive director of the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, past president of Rotary, current member of the Rotary Club of Fairfax City, and she's on several boards. We don't have to get into all that right now, but I could have a whole year's worth of lives just with all the things that Jennifer does.
But I appreciate the opportunity to share my love of Rotary with Eugene, and we are going to get you. You are a Rotarian. I know Rotarians when I meet them. They're very easy to spot. but I appreciate the opportunity to share with the world how great Rotary is and how awesome our club is.
The club is awesome. I have been there before, and I know that as a compliment. So thank you, Jennifer. I do appreciate, and I do love the club. Like I said, I've been there before. So everybody watching, you should definitely check it out. Come to the happy hour if that's your thing. Check out one of their lunch meetings by Zoom.
Yeah, and I guess I should also say, I mean, there are a lot of Rotary clubs in Northern Virginia, and they don't all meet on Monday at noon or
Yeah,
there are some that meet in the morning at 7:30 a.m. There are some that meet in the evening. So there's really something for everyone. So I can connect you with a club that might suit your schedule and geographic location a little bit better.
Yes, and we all know how difficult it is traveling this area. Even things opening back up seems like traffic is back to normal, and it's hard. It's hard to get to something in the middle of the day for some people. It's hard to get to something early in the morning. But if you like Rotary and want to join, there are a lot of different options, and I'm sure Jennifer would suggest that you check out different clubs too, and find one that you like that works for you, because it's just about get like any place where you spend your time, getting along with people and finding the right fit for you.
Yeah, and I mean, some clubs are very small with only maybe a dozen members. Our club has 80 plus members, so we're one of the larger ones.
Oh.
There's all kinds of stuff in between, so you have to find what's the best fit for you.
True. Okay, well, Jennifer, I know you have to go, so thank you so much for joining me today. And for anybody that's watching the replay of this, feel free, if you have any questions, type them in the comments. We'll get notifications. Reach out to Jennifer or Barry if you have any questions about Rotary. And remember the happy hour next Tuesday, the 24th at 5:30. Jennifer, thank you so much. Thanks, Barry, for tuning in and for helping us.
Yep, thanks for having my back, Barry. I appreciate it. Us past presidents have to stick together.
Yes, you do. Okay, well, Jennifer, feel free to stick around for 2 seconds afterwards if you want. Otherwise, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.